Well, guys, there's been a lot of shakeups over at DC Comics because yesterday, Geoff Johns stepped down from DC Comics. Hello everybody, I'm Robert Storms. Welcome back to the channel once again. If you're finding me for the very first time, be sure to click that subscribe button. Yesterday, it was announced that Geoff Johns stepped away from DC Comics. He is no longer the Chief Creative Officer over at DC Comics, and many of you guys are probably wondering, what the hell is a Chief Creative Officer anyway? So, Chief Creative Officer is a very important role in DC Comics. Over at Marvel, I believe it's Joe Quesada, or at least the last time I checked it was Joe Quesada, and what the Chief Creative Officer does is they are responsible for overseeing everything in the cartoon universe, the TV shows, the comics, everything that involves the entertainment aspect of DC Comics. The Chief Creative Officer is in charge of that. That was Geoff Johns' role. He has now signed on to a bigger role for Warner Brothers as a writer/producer to the DCEU. And his first film that he wants to write and produce is going to be Green Lantern. So that's his first project out the gate. Now, Geoff Johns has been working with the DCEU for the past year or so, and he also helped co-write Aquaman. But now he's decided to step away from the Chief Creative Officer duties in order to focus more fully on writing and producing the DCEU movies. And this is actually a really good move. This is a fantastic move. Now, we also heard that Jim Lee is going to take over the duties for Geoff Johns as Chief Creative Officer now that Geoff Johns moved on over to Warner Brothers. So what is this going to mean with the comics, the movies, the TV shows? Because the CW universe, that was part of Geoff Johns. The animated movies that you guys like, part of Geoff Johns. Everything that you like that wasn't the movies was involved with Geoff Johns. Geoff Johns oversaw all that. So how things are going to shake up now? I personally don't think a lot of things are going to change, but I think a lot of stuff is going to change for the better over at the DCEU. Great fucking news, Sorry. Didn't mean to use profanity. That was very unprofessional of me. Great super duper news, everybody. Greg just managed to sign Geoff Johns to a writer-producer role here at Warner Brothers. He's going to help us turn the DCEU around. It's finally our time. It's finally our time. Has anybody seen Greg? I just want to fuck the shit out. Sorry. I digress. Our time. That's right, you guys should be celebrating and popping that champagne because now it looks like maybe Warner Brothers is possibly getting a person like a Kevin Feige over there to help oversee this stuff. Now, we don't know how big of a role that Geoff Johns is going to have and how much input, because even if he signs on as a writer/producer for the DCEU, if Warner Brothers and the creative team over there doesn't like what he says, they can change it, and Geoff Johns can do nothing about that. Until we start to see movies like Aquaman and Wonder Woman 2 and Shazam come out, then we get to the next phase of the DCEU, and we'll really be able to see how much input Geoff Johns really had with these movies and this universe taking on this new role. Now, like I said before, Geoff Johns is the co-writer on Aquaman, so that would probably be our first taste to see what he actually brought to that movie, and hopefully it's a good movie, because despite what people say, I don't really hate DC. It's just they do stupid ass fucking decisions. But I definitely think this is a great move. Finally, after all the stupidity that they have done, this finally looks like a great move, and it looks like we might be getting a Green Lantern movie, so that makes me excited. But I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about Geoff Johns stepping away from his role of Chief Creative Officer over at DC Comics to pursue a bigger role with Warner Brothers? How do you feel about that? Do you think it's going to benefit the DCEU at all? Are you excited for the Green Lantern movie if it possibly happens? Be sure to leave those comments in the comment box below. And as always, guys, if you're finding me for the very first time, be sure to click that subscribe button. And until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.